Hello, everyone. Phil Conway here, hopping on to continue to dive deeper into Think and Grow Rich and working with Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes, where we talk about right at the tip of the iceberg, talking about the top of where we dive deeper into all the principles. And with the seventh step towards acquiring the life that you really want to have, the outcome with peace of mind, and to be able to really have that way of thriving, being resilient in any conditions in the economy. The seventh step is the topic of decision. When my mentor, Bob Proctor, had talked about the idea, the one habit that we can often decide to do is to make a decision. This one habit could really have the potential to change us because, as Napoleon Hill writes, decision is the antidote to procrastination. How many times do people get stuck with the idea of being overly analytical, or really just, oh, I'll wait till I get more data, and really don't wait to, they're just waiting for different things to happen, or the right time, the right circumstances, the right people. One of the quality traits is that imperfect action will always outperform waiting to take action later on. It's that idea that we've got as we're talking about the principles we talked about, not necessarily that they're in sequential order. They all come together. We've talked so far, about desire, faith, belief, that we have auto-suggestion, the idea of the conversation from ourselves to ourselves, specialized knowledge, imagination, and now we're talking into decision before we're going to get later into persistence and organized planning, the mastermind, the mystery of sex transportation, the subconscious mind, the brain, and that sixth sense, that intuition, that how do we see what we don't see? And we'll get into those a little bit later. But today, it's indecision. And this is really the idea where we have that idea. Because we have the idea with everything inside of us as a tool, as a resource, to achieve everything we're looking to do. Because we wouldn't receive that idea unless we had everything inside of us. But more than 98, 99% of people, when you get an idea, they think, oh, it will never happen. There's no self-confidence. How many times have you done something that you haven't done before? When is the last time that you've done something for the first time and had a high level of confidence? Because we've got zero limits. We've got no top for the amount of confidence. All the amount of confidence that we have comes from what we have already taken action at. So this is where imperfect action will also outperform waiting until the time is perfect, because the timing never is perfect. It's always just this moment now. So as we tap into the idea of the decision, it's making an act of courage is how it opens up. And procrastination is one of the biggest obstacles faced by individuals in the modern world. So few people are able to make decisions quickly and without wavering. Most people hesitate to make decisions that impact the direction their lives will go, especially difficult ones, like choosing a definite major purpose. However, the idea too is a major purpose is really something that we discover is when you start looking at what is it that are your strengths and how you're always working on developing your strengths, understanding that even though your weaknesses could be better than other people's strengths, only looking at yourself, not comparing to others, within yourself, those weaknesses are best done by somebody else who have them as strengths. And then they end up coasting through life. It's like that hamster in the wheel, doing the same thing day in, day out, every day. And when people quietly research to the nth degree, they're just always looking at, What does this research say? Or the idea too is that when we have the ability to choose, if there's within every adversity lies a seed of something greater. There's both good and bad in all people, in all places, at all times, at all moments. So, are we looking for the good? Are we looking for the bad? Because it becomes self fulfilling. Whatever it is that we expect is what we'll observe. There's an observer effect, which is pretty cool. We go into other lessons. But anyway, we're just keeping on the very surface, and we do dive down deeper into each of these principles when we come down to having an outcome with peace of mind, how to be resilient and thrive at any situation, any conditions, any circumstances, and finding joy at higher levels too. So all decisions require courage or self-confidence in one's ability to weather whatever results follow. One of the idea that Napoleon Hill gets into a little bit later on is opinions are the seed of procrastination. What would it be like if what other people think or whatever they would say is possible or not possible? What if we didn't allow that to enter into our mind? Because if we've got self-confidence in our ideas, we make a decision that this is going to happen. How is it going to happen? Well, there's three things. It takes a purpose, a plan, and an action. PPA, purpose, plan, action. We do have to have a plan, yet at the same time, when we make a decision that this is the destination we're going, the plan can shift. The goal, the destination doesn't shift, just the plan of how it can be done. Who will it take to come together? What kind of a mastermind? What environment are we with? And so we start looking at those things, and then we don't have to be putting off, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect people. Just start doing it, because there's all kinds of noise in the outside world, and until we learned how to shut that down and really be resilient, that becomes the power that's within us. And when we have that power within us expressed every day, life becomes very different. So the idea that Napoleon Hill hints at too is that we'll get into future, the mastermind group. That's where we have groups of people that come together. They ignite their thinking, their imagination. And each one has specialized knowledge. Another principle we'll get into as well. So here's just leaving you quick. The idea is that next time you're pondering something, what feels light and what feels forced? This will help you to make a decision on which the next course of action. Ask yourself, what is this guidance for the day, and how do I move forward? Does it feel both exciting and light and inspiring? And at the same time, because of those ghosts of fear, and we'll get into the ghosts of fear later on, if we have fear, that's where procrastination is going to have, because we're being blocked by some of the 6 fears that are natural to us, and we're hardwired to have those automatic negative thoughts. This is why in previous principle we talked about autosuggestion, where we're giving ourselves a conversation looking for the good that we want to have. So here's one exercise, and I'll leave you with that. Write this following sentence on a piece of paper, and ideally you get an index card or a journal if you're using a journal, and place it somewhere where you'll see it several times a day. And here it is. Tell the world what you intend to do. However, not in words. First, show them. Take the actions. Show the world what you're doing. And when they ask, what are you doing? Now you can tell them what you've done. Now you've made the decision, this idea, this burning desire. You're moving forward. You're believing in it. And then you're making it happen. Slowly. Really, it's not about perfection. Progress, more than perfection, moves us forward. And that is the 7th step. Make a decision, and who knows? Where will you go when you make a decision? Catch you in the next lesson.